Welcome to Tail Slaters. I'm Darren Murphy, partner with Cineview, here to talk about the Ronin RS3 PRO. So let's start as it comes. This is how it's going to be stored. This is how it'll be in your case. This is the main unit. This is the main gimbal. Here we have the bottom, the handle. It has also the battery. There's a little button by the battery indicator. Shows you how much battery life is on it. I don't even know. Did I press it? That's it. There you go. I've got a small camera here. It's the same process either way, whether it's a lightweight camera or a heavier camera, as long as you're not exceeding the weight limit of the device itself. I don't know. I'll find out, and I'll probably put it right. Ding. I'll do my own sound effect. This is a zoom lens, so it does also play into the balancing and the weight of the RS3 PRO. This is a 24 to 105. If you have it set at 24 millimeters, the weight distribution is going to be different if you have it out at 105. That's something to keep in mind when you're balancing your camera. It's something where it would be ideal if you could keep it balanced and rebalance if you decide to change. Let's start with the gimbal itself. You can see at the bottom here, hopefully I'm not going outside the focus plane because like I said, I fixed it. So I may do this whole video and be like, well, got to do that all over again. So you can see contacts here. You can see contacts on here, and it's pretty intuitive. It can only go one of two ways, and it fits only one way. It's got a little lock unlock toggle switch here. It should be set to unlock, and as you push it in, you're gonna hear a click. While we're here, let's just go ahead and do the reverse, just while we're here. So if I want to get this off, I'm putting it away, turn it to unlock, it still is not gonna wanna come out. And even if you try to start pulling it out, it's going to move itself back to lock, and then the button won't work, which I just did. Don't try and pull it out until you push the button in. Now you should be able to slip it right on out. Wonderful. If you ever want to set it down, this is handy. It's a little tripod attachment. At the bottom, there's a quarter 20 screw. Just screw it in. EOS RP, it's a very lightweight camera. You got this tiny little base plate. First thing you're going to do, you got to be aware of, is you don't put the plate on so that it's facing forward. You put it on so it's facing, you know, I need to figure out which side of the line I want to live in. I'm going to live over here. We'll choose to live in this area. So usually I feel like you kind of want to put it on the camera like this. You put it sideways. Is there a front and a back? I'm not sure. Let's find out. I'll probably put the answer up here. So we got it on here. We got it on our tiny little camera. Now on this device, I've seen people do this a multitude of ways. I've seen where they choose to not unlock everything. They kind of unlock as they go, as they balance. I've always done it where I unlock everything. This device is made so that the axes, the pan, roll, tilt, etc., all lock. So when you put it away, it's not flopping all over the place. You can also lock it when you walk away from it, things like that. So you also got to be careful of, there's several different lock and unlock functions on the device. Some are to actually set and balance the Ronin itself. Others are to lock and unlock the different tilt points, the different axes. So we're looking for these tiny little buttons that unlock the axes. Here's one. So we unlock this way. There's going to be another one for this way and another one for this way. So let's look around on the front, and there's a lock unlock here that allows it to swing this way. And then the last one to allow us to do the rest is right here. So it's a little tiny button, and that lets it swing this way. So it's a little confusing when you're first looking at it, at least to me. I don't know. I'm not that smart though. So as far as how this should be angled, which way it should be pointing. So you've got a screen that's on the back of the joystick. It's going to be facing the operator, which makes sense because if you want to make changes, there's a little toggle, little joystick button. You're going to want this back part to swing out to your right, to the operator's right. This is basically the position it's going to look like, more or less. Now again, other people have locked this. You know what, why don't we try that? Because maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I'm the stupid one. I'm making things way more difficult than they need to be. What if I lock this? Okay, I'm locking the one, not the one that lets it spin this way, not the one that lets it spin this way, but the one that lets it spin this way. I think that's called the roll. We have another plate here. This is the plate where the camera is going to sit on. And it's got a little arrow on the front of it, which tells you which way it should be pointing. It shouldn't be pointing towards you, it should be pointing away. So let's put this in here. Now one thing you want to do is you want to make sure this side is unlocked. This is not the axis lock, this is the adjustment lock, and those are usually arms like this. So in order to get it in there, you got to unlock it. I can now slide this through. Now to get this on, this was a little unintuitive to me. I would think you put it in from the back and push forward. Apparently you don't. You have to put it on from this side, from the further side, and you can see there's a little pin down here that stops it. It's a little safety, and then you just push it on. Now as you push it on, you're going to see that that button is going to click and keep it. Now it's going to keep it from being able to fall out. And if you want to release it, if you ever want to get it back out, there's a little button here that's a release. And to take it off, you take it, put it on the same way. That makes sense. But you don't have to push the button to get it on. It'll do it itself. As it goes through, the actual base will cause the button to slide and click into place and become a lock. All right, so let's get this on here. Or sorry, now it is on there. So on the back here, again, well, hopefully you can see this well enough. I will do close-ups of it. I have this unlocked as well. This is where I'm putting the camera in. Let's slide it in from this side and let's see if that works. Okay, sliding it in. All right, it's also engaging, so it can't come back out. There is another button on the back that you have to press to release it. Let's not do that right now. Let's go ahead and put a lens on. This is a good time to mention that whatever weight you're going to add to the camera, you should do it before you start balancing anything, because if you balance it, including like lens caps and things, if you balance it, then you make a change to the weight distribution. Now you got to rebalance it, and that's just a bunch of waste of time. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock this side so that I can control the roll wheel. And I'm going to start rolling it back. And I'm literally just looking for the place where it wants to sit and be fairly level. Doesn't have to be perfect yet, but you should be able to let go of it and it not tilt forward, tilt back. And I think you got to move back a little bit so you can see a little easier. Hopefully that's good. Okay, so next, now I did decide to lock this axis, which I usually don't, but let's see if this works. I think that's probably not a bad idea to make it a little easier. Now let's go back and unlock this side. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's falling all the way to the right. So let's unlock the back one, and then we'll start sliding this back piece to the point where it no longer wants to rock this way or that way without holding it. So I'm gonna keep pushing. Sometimes these are like little micro adjustments, and you can go past the point. It's very easy. You're trying to move like a millimeter or two, you accidentally go 3, and suddenly you're going back the other way, and that's normal. All right, so that's getting, oh, I went a little too far. Little micro adjustment. Okay, now I'm not locking the axis, but I'm gonna go ahead and lock this big swing arm to set this adjustment. I may have to come back and change this again. A lot of times the adjustments you make on one thing may affect the other thing. I know, technical term. So it's, not perfect, but I'm able to let go of it and it stays in 3D space basically where it is. Now our next adjustment, this is very important. This adjustment here. Now for lighter cameras, you're gonna tend to be higher on this arm. And it's kind of intuitive. Heavier cameras, you're gonna tend to be lower on this arm, and it's all about finding that center of gravity. Now what I should be able to do when I'm trying to adjust this is I should be able to take the camera, point it up, or at 45 degrees, or down, or 45 degrees down, and it should stay. So let's start adjusting this one. As you use this more and more, you'll get better and better at it. Let me go ahead and lock that, because it is staying for me, but I'm probably gonna get it exactly how I want it, and then suddenly it's gonna drop by a millimeter and all be wrong. All right, so let's go 45 degrees. Okay, it's staying. 45 degrees down, oh, not quite. It's still wanting to tilt up. I don't know what this thing is or what it's for. I'm sure this is for something, but it's definitely not for this setup. There's a little 1/4-20 screw at the bottom here, and it's kind of jostling around. I wonder if it's throwing me off. All right, so I think I'm just gonna also just adjust this. I feel like just the tilt itself is adjusting. So I think by adjusting that other parameter, it's now affecting other things, which, as I said before. All right, so that's pretty good. It's wanting to stay in all positions. So I think that's what happened. What I did was, as I was trying to affect this and affect this, there was a slight adjustment that countered the tilt. And so by correcting that tilt just that little bit, it made this come into alignment. And it's kind of playing back and forth. And you know what? If I'm completely wrong and you do something another way that's way easier, feel free to let me know in the comments, but be polite. All right, there's one other thing that you should be able to do. So that's a very important adjustment. There's one more after that, and it has to do with this bottom guy. We haven't touched the bottom here. If you turn it like this, or turn it like this, it should also stay, which it is. And as you pick it up, again, this is with the Ronin not on, it's still off. But as I come back with the camera, and I know I'm going out of frame a little bit, and as I go forward, it should not spin and do a bunch of, like that. That's a little off. It shouldn't do that. Try that again. Way better. I'm going to about 45 degrees. Pretty good. So let's push the on button. Okay, it's going to orient itself, and it should go into a calibration mode. Gimbal control pour calibrate gimbal. Hit confirm. It's going to go through. Just leave it alone. Don't mess with it. You want it on a stable platform where it can do its thing. You can see it shaking around, and the motors are testing each of the axes and just dialing it in for this weight of a camera. And hopefully you've given it all the help it needs with balancing it manually, and now it's just doing the fine tuning to get it perfect. Calibrating. Gimbal calibration is now complete. So in theory, I should be able to pick this thing up and it not go completely crazy. See, I'm also not an expert at balancing, but we did it, I think. That's an episode. This is a tangent that doesn't make any sense. Thanks for joining Tailslaters. Again, this was part 1 of a part 2 episode. Part 2, we'll get into more of the internal, weird way to end an episode.